In this session, we are going to simulate the LED switch program using Proteus Design Suite 8. Right? So you can click on New Project. First, you need to create a new project. You can click on New Project. New project is initializing. Here you can give the project name. Whatever project name you need, you can give here. I'm giving the same LED switch. It will be saved here. Then give next. Then it is asking for whether you need to create a schematic or not. So you should select this, create a schematic from selected template. By default it will be selected. Give next. Here it is asking whether you are going to write a firmware project. That means whether you are going to write the program in Proteus itself. So we are not going to write the program here. Program I have already written in Keel. So you can select no firmware. By default it will be like this. Give next. So you have created a schematic and firmware is not there. So give as finish. Then you will be getting a workspace here. Here you are going to draw the circuit diagram. So for drawing the circuit diagram, you need to add the components in this part known as device list. So for adding the component, you need to click on this. It is known as component mode in the toolbar. So you can click on this. Then you need to click on this pick from libraries. Click on this. Then you are going to add the controller. So in Proteus Simulator, you are not having 2148, you are having only 2138. That doesn't matter, only few difference will be there in the memory. So now you are going to take 2138, not 48. So add 21, you can double click on the result. Then you can see that under the device list it is added. Similarly, you can add the LED. So you can give LED-yellow. Double click on that. So that also will be added. Then you need to add switch. I am adding a push button switch. So you can search for button. BUTTON. Button active will be there. SPST push button switch will be there. Double click on that. Then last one, you are going to add a resistance, pull down resistance. So for getting resistance, you need to type MIN RES 1K. So you will get MINRES 1K resistance. So MINRES 1K, that is 0.6 watts 1K resistance. Double click on that. So all the components are added here. Next you are going to draw the circuit diagram. So first click on LPC2148. No need of dragging the mouse cursor. Simply move the cursor to the workspace. Click here once. Don't drag. Simply move to workspace. Click once. Then click once more. So you will get the IC here. So once you are clicking, you will get the skeleton. Click once more. So it will be fixed here. Right. Then you will not be able to read this. So you can click on this zoom once or twice. So now you can see that whatever your port, you are going to connect the LED and switch to P0.1 and P0.0. Those ports are not visible here. It is gone outside the viewable area. So how will I bring this controller back to viewable area? Here you can see one green square, and now the cursor itself. You click on that. So now you can see that the cursor will be of a plus symbol cursor will be there, and the green square shows the actual visible area. So move the green square towards little bit up. So and click once more. Move the green square wherever you need to keep it. Then click once more. So it will be fixed there. Plus symbol has been gone. So this is where P0.0 and P0.1 is there. So in P0.1 you are going to connect the LED. So for that you click on LED-yellow. No need of dragging. Come to this place. Click here once. So your LED is there. Then on the other hand side of the LED you need to connect the ground. So for getting ground you can click on this icon, terminals mode. Click on that. Then you will get all the terminals. From that you select ground. Then keep the ground here. Right. Then you can make the connection P0.1 to LED other end to ground. Then you need to connect the switch to P0.0. So now you are in terminals mode. If you want to select the components, you need to go back to component mode. How will you do that? Click on component mode, then you can see the components. Click on button, then click here once. So this is your button. You added the button here, right? Then in one side of the button you need to connect to VCC, and you need to connect a resistance to ground at the other side. So click on the resistance MINRS1K, keep it here. So it will be in horizontal. If you want to make it vertical, right click on this, give rotate. Right click on this, give rotate. So your resistance will be here, right? Then one end of the resistance you need to get connect to ground. So again click on terminals mode, select ground, keep it here. Other end of the switch should be connected to VCC. So for getting VCC you need to click on generator mode. Generator mode, click on this. So you will get all the generators. From that you need to take DC generator. Take DC generator, keep it here, and the DC source should be 3.3 volt because your controller is working on 3.3. So for configuring that, double click on the DC source, double click on DC source, give here value 3.3. 3.3 volt will be configured with the DC source, give OK. So now this is a 3.3 volt DC source. Then you can make the connection, switch to P0.0, resistance to switch, other end of resistance to ground, other end of button to the DC generator, right? So now my schematic is ready. I have connected LED to P0.1, switch to P0.0, and I have connected a pull down resistance. The details of the circuit I have already explained in part 2 of the lecture. You can go through that and you can see that. Next thing you need to do is you need to connect VCC and ground to the controller, as well as the crystal oscillator frequency also you need to configure. So VCC and ground portion is at the bottom of the controller. So you need to take the click on the green box, move it down so that you can see the VCC and ground part. Click once more, so it will be fixed here. So all this VSS pins will be connected to ground. All this V3 pins, V reference and V bat, should be connected to VCC. So first you are going to take the VCC. So for taking VCC you need to click on generator mode, click on DC generator, the same DC generator what you have used. So you are keeping it here. You are going to connect to all the pins. You are connecting to all these pins. Then you need to configure this DC source as 3.3 volt generator. So double click on this, give here 3.3 as voltage, give OK because it is operating on 3.3 volt. Then these pins you need to connect it to ground. So for that, click on terminals mode, click on terminals mode, click on ground, keep it here. Then you can make the connection to all these pins. All these pins you can make the connections. So I have connected the VCC and ground. Next step is I need to configure the crystal frequency of this controller. For that you need to double click on this controller. You need to double click on the controller. Here it will be asking for clock frequency. Give the clock frequency as 12 because by default it is 12. Then you need to give the program file or the hex file which you have created in the previous part. That is in part 3. In the previous lecture we have created the hex file. So click on this browse button, go to D, there my project folder is there. This was my project folder. Inside the project folder you can see LED switch project.hex, LED switch project. Select this, give open. So you can see here the folder name slash the project.hex will be there. So this is a program file, this is a clock frequency. Give OK. Now I have done all the necessary steps required for running the simulation. Then you can run the simulation, right? Before running you need to see the LED and switch. So you can go back to the top portion. So again click on this green box, move to the top, click there once more. So it is fixed here. Then you can run the simulation. Run is on the left hand side corner, you can see. Click on run the simulation. Right, so the simulation has started. My program was that when I am pressing the switch, LED will be on. When I am pressing, it will be on. When I am releasing, it will be off. When I am pressing, it will be on. When I am releasing, it will be off. So this is how you are simulating a LED switch program using Proteus Simulator. Whenever you are clicking, the LED will be on. Right, all the programs and the programs will be shared in the video details or in my site www.piyushkp.in. Thank you.